Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay, and this is going to be a general reading for the sign of Aquarius for the month of April 2018. Hello, Aquarius. How are you? Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, clicking on this video. As you can tell, I am a new tarot reader here on YouTube, so I thank you for giving me a shot here. What I'll do is I'm going to meditate on your energy quickly. I was doing so previously before I hit record on the video. And once your spread is laid, I'll get into the energies as I see them, and then I'll present your reading to you. So just bear with me for a moment, and then we'll get started. Okay. And Aquarius, if you're not really into watching tarot readers shuffle on camera, there will be a timestamp in the description box below. Feel free to click that, and it'll take you to right when I get into the reading. I told all the other signs before you that the music that you hear in the background that's there for me keeps me kind of in the groove when I do these general readings, so I apologize if it's not really your cup of tea, but it works for me, and I thank you for understanding. And in general, I've told all the other signs, so I'll tell you as well, that I'm not really much of a talker while I shuffle. This first time, maybe first couple of times that I do these videos will be the exception. If you want to know more about me, check the About page, send me a message, comment below, and we'll have a chit-chat that way. Okay. Okay. It's very interesting that they all kind of, well, most of them flopped out in that area, like just boom, flew there. It's interesting. And now I just want to get an outcome card for you, Aquarius. And then the bottom of the deck will be your overall energy for the month of April. I'll flip all your cards, view them, and then we'll get into the reading. Wow. Okay, let's see what's going on here. What is going on here for Aquarius, please? Let's find out. Okay. Well, Aquarius, I think April is going to be a pretty good month for you. I think there might be a hiccup here and there. There might be some pause or some fear and anxiety, but I think if you play your cards right, no pun intended, you'll be okay. All right? Where you start off coming into April, you come in as the Page of Wands, okay? And what's the Page of Wands all about? Page of Wands, like the other pages, is a messenger. Page of Wands is a messenger, like the others in the other pages in the tarot deck. And Page of Wands brings messages of intention, of new adventures, new journeys, new projects, new passions, okay? Sometimes messages of love or just sex, but that's more likely the Knight of Wands. So, but, you know, a page might have a fantasy or two, you know? And I think what's going on here is, you see how the page is really admiring the tip of that wand, is really like studying it. I think that you're you're evaluating what you feel, evaluating some new emotions or new vitality. Might even be renewed. We'll see. But whatever it is, like the Page of Wands normally might be a little like excited or excitable. But I just feel this is a little more calculated. I get a calculated feeling here. Like, you don't want to get too excited. Like, you're cautious. You're being cautious with your enthusiasm. You have it. You're probably just keeping it under wraps a little bit, or you're holding off on letting it loose, you know? So that's where I think you're coming into April as the Page of Wands. You're enthusiastic. There's something new before you. New, like I said, a new project, a new endeavor, a new job, a new hobby, a new relationship, whatever it is. And you would be normally pretty ecstatic about something that's new, that has your attention. But like I said, there's something about this that, and it's probably what's happening here, is like I said, you're cautious. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. And that's because you've been healing with the Star card. You're also here in April, but the majority of your energy is here. But you're also here in your own card, the Star card, which is the card for Aquarius in the Major Arcana. And Star card is about wishes and hopes and things kind of coming out in your favor, or you know, not really luck, but just positive circumstances or positive outcomes. But I don't feel this as a finality or like a result. I really feel this as more of a process. You have been in your own skin trying to get right. Trying to get cleansed. Yeah, okay, cleansed. You're trying to get cleansed. You're trying to get rid of residue. Wash away the old so that new things can come towards you. How have you done that? Maybe you've done some spiritual stuff. Maybe you've been praying. Maybe you took up yoga. Maybe, you know, you're here watching a tarot reading. Maybe you're getting into esoteric things. Counseling. Like, I feel like the Star, like this woman, just the figure of the woman, this could be a counselor to you. This could be a therapist to you. So you've done work. Could just be a friend, of course, or, you know, someone that you're socializing with. You know, it could be a Facebook Messenger, like, group chat where you're just, like, airing out your feelings and your friends are supporting you. But whatever it is, you've made it a point to get rid of old crap. And I think it's mostly internal. Like, I think it's mostly old residual emotions, resentment, anxiety, anger, sadness, depression, okay? You've been really trying to work through that. And you're not done. You are not done. That's evident by these other 3 cards that I see here. But you are able to recognize your progress, and that might be sort of talking to the other part of the star, which is about positive results, which is about favorable results. You're making the grade, you know. You're progressing. If this was like a checklist, you've got like 3 out of your 10 things checked off. Maybe more than 3, but you know, you're progressing. You note the progress. Other people around you, especially if this is a therapist or someone who is close to you, who's helping you along the way, they also can note the progress. And because you know it's still in the making, that's why you're not overly enthusiastic with the Page of Wands, among other things that we're about to discuss. But that's definitely, the Page of Wands is normally a go, go, go kind of guy. He's normally a nothing can stop me type of character. He recognizes that there are some roadblocks ahead. He recognizes that he doesn't have everything in its place set to go on his journey. He realizes, I'm not ready to bust out of the gates just yet, okay? And why is that? Because you are coming from here. You're not here anymore, but you were here, possibly recently, sometime in March, sometime earlier in 2018, maybe even 2017. Who knows? But you have recently been in this energy, this 3 of Swords reversed. And I say that it's recent because it's still the 3... did I say 3 of Hearts? I'm sorry, 3 of Swords. I say recently because it is still the 3 of Swords. Even though it's reversed, even though when it comes like this, it might scare the daylights out of you. In this position, it's still relevant. It's still maybe even like tingles a little bit. Like tingles is usually a good association, but that's kind of how it is. Like there's some part of you that still carries this energy. And I don't think this is a mental thing, even though Swords does cover mental capacities and how we think and how we communicate and all of that. I think this is definitely, you feel this more than you think about it. Like you remember the hurt. You remember the anguish, the heartache, the heartbreak. You remember the sadness and the depression, okay? Like I was mentioning about the Star card. You're getting over that, and this is where it resides. It still resides. Like it's fitting that this is in the corner of your spread, right? You've tucked this away. Not to ignore it, although some of you might be. Some of you might be. But I think a good portion of you are not ignoring it. You're just like, it's like you're doing spring cleaning, right? And that's fitting since we're talking about April. It's like you're doing spring cleaning, and this is like that one corner in the room that you've yet to tackle, or that you've yet to really clean up entirely. Like it's still got like clothes and mail and just things that need to be thrown out, but you're not really sure if you want to throw them out, and you're not sure if you want to get it organized. Like, you know you have to clean up this last little bit of the room. You need to organize things, you need to throw things away, you need to vacuum and dust down the surfaces. You just haven't, you don't know how to approach it just yet. Like, again, you're still thinking, do I really want to throw that out? Do I want to put this in the closet, or do I want to donate it? You know, you're like thinking of the different ways in which you can clean it up. The counseling, the therapy, the self-work, the spirituality. You're trying to figure out the best way to process this last little bit of dissatisfaction and heartache that you've experienced recently. And part of the reason that I wanted to say, or that I did say, spirituality is because you have the Hangman. Hangman is not necessarily a spiritual card in the sense of spiritual practice, like following a certain doctrine or reading or anything like that. But the Hangman, to me, is spiritual because it requires you to sort of walk in another man's shoes, right? It's all about, this guy's hanging upside down. He's got this ray of light around his head because he's becoming enlightened. Not enlightened, again, like in a spiritual sense, like he's becoming a guru, or like he's, you know, a Buddha or something like that, or a Messiah. No, he's becoming enlightened because when you're in the position, if you were to hang upside down for any period of time, first of all, it's not healthy. Don't do it. It's not good for you. Well, I mean, if you hang for a long time, it's really not going to be good for you. But when you do that, the way that you view the world around you changes drastically. You know, we're so used to, most of us, like probably 99% of our lives is going to be spent upside right, walking on our feet or standing on our feet. This guy's got his feet tethered to a branch, or his foot tethered to a branch, and he's observing the world from a new perspective, a perspective that is completely flipped or completely inverted. So there's symbolism in that, right? You need to, or you're considering, not that you need to, you are considering or trying your best to flip your perspective, to do a 180. And not necessarily in your behavior, not necessarily in your thoughts. I think you're trying to absorb something. Absorb, observe, receive. Yeah. Absorb or receive and observe something through different eyes. And I did mention this is also a card about walking in another man's shoes. So there might be someone that you're dealing with, or a situation where you dealt with other people where you had your position and you were like, this is it. This is what I feel. This is what I think. This is what I believe. And now something has changed, or something is inspiring you to go back and put yourself in someone else's shoes, to see it from their perspective. And that's a healing process, or that can be a part of a healing process. Because it could also be a part of like a learning process, trying to understand something logically. I don't think you're trying to understand anything logically. I really think you're trying to, this is like very, like I keep saying spiritual, but it's also like psychological. It's also dealing with like how you socialize with others, how you approach relationships with other people. This is very people-oriented, this spread, by the way. It can involve your job or something less spiritual, less self-development, but I think it's mostly self-development. And I don't really see anybody else here in the reading besides you. Because again, this is where you mostly are. Like, this might be someone helping you. This might be someone external to you. So maybe there is that one person there potentially. And I also think the Hangman is you. I don't think this is talking about someone else needs to change their perspective or is doing that, working on that. It's possible. It's possible. Maybe you're doing a lot of self-work, improvement of self between these two cards. And maybe you're dealing with someone who their method of doing it is not to talk to others or really work on healing, but work on changing their point of view. So that's possible. And if so, I think you and this person, if it is another person, I'm not super feeling that, like it's a very small amount that I would feel that the hangman is someone else. But if it is, so if it is, just to entertain the small feeling I do have that that's a possibility, then you both would be sharing this heartbreak or this anguish or this pain. And again, you're like approaching it differently. So this could be a situation with an ex. This could be a situation with a family member. Maybe there was a falling out between you and a relative. This could be someone, a coworker, a boss. It could be with anyone, but whatever it is, you both have experienced this together. Maybe you both lost someone if this is like relatives or any other relationship, or even with exes. Maybe you both lost someone. Like, not to say it. No. Because I don't view this as death. So I'm not going to, no. But you lost someone. Like maybe this was like a roommate situation. Or maybe it was, maybe it was a partnership in business. Maybe you three were business partners. Maybe there were 3 people and they were business partners and one person stepped off. One person had to divest, or they couldn't continue with the project. And that kind of leaves you both feeling pretty bummed. Like maybe you're more enthusiastic about continuing with the project or continuing with it in a different way. Like, okay, we don't have our third person here anymore. Like we don't have our third partner in this investment anymore, but we can still continue. And so you're trying to figure out different ways, and you're trying to heal yourself as well. But you're trying to figure out a new way to spin the business, to spin the idea. And this person is sort of in suspension, trying to change their mindset about it, But again, that's very small. Like, I don't feel that super strongly. Like, that's for maybe like a few of you. Okay? What I mostly feel is that this would be some type of partnership between you and one other person. And for whatever reason, you both parted ways. Temporarily. Yeah, I don't get the sense, like, if this was a breakup. Like, how long? Months? Years? Mostly not years, mostly just months. So this is a temporary break for most of you, okay? Most of you have been separated from someone, so that could be it, a marital separation, okay? It could have been a breakup between people that were dating, could have been, yeah, whatever it is, it's not been long. Long is, of course, subjective. To some people out there, a month is a long time. So, who knows? But it's not been more than a year. Or a year and some months. I just don't see that. So, it's recent. And that's why, that would make sense why this is still, like, there. And you're kind of looking at that pile in the corner of the room going, damn, do I really want to throw that out? It's only been 5 months. Do I really want to throw out that person's stuff? They might come back for it, So there's that might explain the reluctance or the slow processing of removing that energy, okay? But again, that's assuming the hangman is another person, which is, again, for a smaller amount of you. I do feel this is mostly about self-development, things that you're processing on your own. And I think this This Eight of Swords is preventing you from being completely in the Page of Wands energy. Like, the Star is not only healing the past, the memory, or what you've experienced recently. The Star card is also having to heal this belief that you can't heal. Like, this is like self-doubt. This is like, I've tried and it's not working. You've been going to counseling for like 3 weeks. I've tried and I don't see the result yet. Like, I feel like there's, okay, because again, in the Star card, you recognize progress. You're doing like 2 things at once here. You see your progress, you feel your progress, and maybe it's a day-by-day thing. Maybe it's one day you wake up, you feel great, you're going to conquer the world, you go to bed, and then the next day you feel like, boom, here I am again. Okay? So it's and this would make sense because this is Eight of Swords, right? And swords, again, mental capacities, how you think, how you perceive yourself, how you rationalize things, how you communicate. And this is a card of poor self-perception. This woman, she's tied up, but she's not captive. All right? She could probably shimmy those ropes or that cloth from around her. She could probably do a little shimmy and it would fall to the ground. Then her arms would be free, and then she could take that blindfold off, and then she would realize, oh, all of these swords are behind me. I could just easily walk out of here, okay? So this is that, this is that mountain out of a molehill, okay? You're thinking you're not as far along in your healing, in your recovery, as you truly are. Or you're believing you can't go any further. You've tried it all. Or, I've been doing this for how long? When do I get the payoff? And that is a defeatist attitude. And I'm glad it's between the Hangman and the Star card. Because that allows you to combat it. That allows you to face it and be like, okay, let me change my perspective so that I can realize I'm not tied and bound and immobile. That's not true. Hangman will realize that. Hangman will allow you to see that. And the Star card's going to say, now why was I feeling that way in the first place? And the Star card will allow you to delve deeper into a more nuanced understanding of why that energy just happens to come upon you midday Thursday while you're eating your egg sandwich at lunch. Suddenly you feel bummed out. What? Why? I just had a great session yesterday with my therapist, or I had a great weekend with my friends. We went out. We had a good time. They talked to me about the BS that I was dealing with my ex. So when this hits you suddenly, you should be able to squash it pretty quickly. Or at least hold it off. Or at least call BS. Like, no, that's not how I truly feel. This is just some Debbie Downer, down in the dumps, thing that just pops up from the recesses of your mind for whatever reason. And again, it's adding to why the Page of Wands energy is not fully ready to go yet, okay? And I think what's going to help with this whole process, and notice the V here, okay? Change perspective, new plans, new endeavors, new enthusiasm with healing. This is all connected. You keep this up, you keep mindful of your mindset, you keep healing, you keep working on your recovery and getting rid of residual energies, you'll be able to beef this guy up. He's going to be able to bust loose. he's going to be able to get out on that road and take you down the path that you want to go. And in this pattern here, in this arc here, this is sitting in the corner, pending removal, pending being boxed up, put in the closet, thrown in the trash, donated, whatever you're going to do with this energy, pending. This is self-saboteur, almost Looney Tunes. Like, where did that come from? Like, out of the blue, boom. What's going to help you with both of these is the communication that you get with the Eight of Wands. So you're talking to somebody, or somebody's talking to you, or you're talking to many people. Like I said, Facebook Messenger chat. Maybe there's 8 of you guys talking about whatever your issues are as young adults growing up in a privileged society such as Western societies, assuming that's where you're from. And that was really presumptuous, so I apologize. Not all of you are going to be talking about your privileges and, you know, oh my God, the line at Starbucks was so long. You know, that's not what everybody's talking about on Facebook Messenger. But the point is, communicating, getting your thoughts out, and not necessarily just about this situation. Just shooting the shit. Just shooting the breeze with people, I think, is going to remind you that life is pretty regular. Because if you, Aquarius, being that your card is the Star card, being that you're an air sign, and being that you're a fixed sign as well, when you go for something, such as personal development, such as healing, such as getting into some type of recovery, however you go about it, you can get deep and heavy into it. I'm not really seeing that here, because again, I think whatever progress you've had so far is working in your favor, and you're kind of coming out of the depths and the real nasty stuff that you had recently. I think you've made wonderful progress. And I think when you get so fixed on something, because again, you are a fixed sign. What does that mean when I say you're fixed? You see a problem and you want to solve the problem at all costs. You're going to overturn every stone. No stone left unturned. That's the cliched saying. You're going to run down all the options, all the possibilities. You're going to exhaust yourself trying to solve the issue. And as an Aquarius, you would even consider things that are unconventional. Not to yourself personally, per se, but to like a society at large. Like, Aquarius is usually go with the flow anyway to a certain degree. Like, okay, I'll do that, or I'll consider that, or you make a good point and never thought of it that way. You're definitely a little bit more receptive than other fixed signs. When you want to be. Because sometimes you're just like, absolutely not, there's no way that I'm okay. Sorry about that, Aquarius. So yeah, there's just going to be times where you're going to say, no, I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to consider that. Of course. But for the most part, for the sake of understanding things on a grander scale, you're willing to consider as many options. And that might be what's, again, helping combat this, keep this at bay, and that's what's going to help you finally process this to get this totally removed, okay? And so the communication, like I said, that could just be with friends. That could be with a therapist or a counselor or someone external to you who is just giving you objective advice. Or balanced. Yeah, sure. Balanced advice. Okay? And you also, because you're on either side of it, are using this communication. So you're not only just receiving information or receiving communication that's helpful, you're also giving it out. So in conversations with whoever is helping you hear, well, not only are you talking to someone else, you're also talking to yourself, which I'm saying that to an Aquarius. And Aquarius is like, yeah, I do talk to myself, and it's not a big deal. To other signs, it would be like, what? I don't talk to myself. What are you talking about? No, Aquarius, you talk to yourself, and you make a lot of sense to yourself, okay? You bring up a lot of good points to yourself. So, either talking to yourself or with another person, that rhythm that happens in a conversation, that give and take, that point, counterpoint, is going to help. Okay, I think I'm back. This is going to be a fun one to edit. Okay, anyway, so the rhythm of conversation between yourself, within yourself, whatever, or with other people, it's gonna lessen these two. It's gonna ease these two out of your life, or just ease how much they're impacting you. Which is wonderful, because like, I think you do have a big wish. I think you have a big goal in mind. But like I said, you're not out there pursuing it just yet. You're taking your time a little bit. You're taking your time. And so, in your outcome for April, you have the 9 of Cups, which is generally known as a wish fulfillment card. Look at this guy. He's so happy. He's like, yeah, I got all these cups. They're all mine, and they're great. They're made of gold. Woohoo, I'm the best. He's also known as the smug dude. He's so smug. He's so full of himself, you know? And I don't really get that. I don't get the smugness. I don't get the full of yourself. I don't get the look how cool my cups are. Or I don't even get like miserly, because sometimes this person is considered miserly. Like, he's got all these cups, but he's not sharing. I just view it as more of a, you are happy to be happier than you were previously. You are pleased to not be displeased. Like, I feel like for a while there, you were on your own damn nerves. Like, you were just like over being moody. You were over feeling sorry for yourself. You were over people feeling sorry for you. You were just like, oh, I want this over with, or I want to be done with this phase in my life, this moment in my life. I want to be over feeling these feelings, thinking these thoughts. And that's why you've put in all this work. And your outcome shows that you get a little something for that. And I think it's a better attitude. I think it's a better perspective is what you're getting. I think you're getting a little more peace of mind, or a restful mind, restful emotions. Like, nothing is really putting you through the ringer like it was a while ago. I think you're feeling not confident, but accomplished. You've earned it. Whatever little droplets or crumbs of goodness that come into your life. Oh my God, I walked into my favorite store today and they gave me a 50% off coupon on my next purchase. 9 of Cups in that moment right there. Yes, I deserve that 50% coupon for my next purchase at Pinkberry. I deserve that. I needed that. I wanted that. Smallest thing to someone else. Insignificant to someone else, but you're like, hell yes. You're ecstatic about the little things. Because, like I said here, it's incremental. The big payoff isn't here yet. You're preparing for it. You're slightly enthusiastic for it, but you're, again, not putting the cart before the horse. You're like, no, I can't risk getting my hopes up so high and having it all crumble down. So instead of me investing all my energy and putting all my eggs in one basket or having my head up in the clouds, I'm going to be satisfied with my coupon from Pinkberry. I'm going to be happy that my roommate decided to buy takeout tonight so I don't have to cook. That's a win, Aquarius. It's a win. And you like it. Okay? In your overall energy, what's influencing this, which talks about what I was mentioning earlier, is the Four of Wands. Stability, happy home, unions, potentially marriage for some of you. Again, I'm not feeling that this was a marriage that broke or was on a break. I don't feel marriage, but it could be for some of you out there. I'm sure there are several Aquariuses that have tied the knot. And maybe this was a breakup. Excuse me, not a breakup, but a break in your marriage. Maybe you're doing couples counseling with the Star card. But whatever it is, it's affecting significant unions in your life. Because again, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could be family. This could be business partnership. This could be roommate situations. And again, if this is all with the self, I don't know what you believe in, but there is a union with self. You are always, the person you're in a relationship with throughout your entire life is yourself, okay? So union within or union without. Either way you cut it, you are consciously considering what it means to not meet in the middle in the sense of compromise, but meet in the middle as complex individuals who have their own issues, who have their own flaws, who have their own idiosyncrasies, or recognizing that you have different parts of yourself that need to be, for lack of a better word, married together in order for you to be a full-fledged individual. But let's stick with the union without, because it's a little less complex to talk about for this general reading. Now, there is a relationship, a partnership, a meeting of two people that's very important to you, that you want to preserve, that you want to fix, that you want to see resurrected, or that you want to see having a better outlook. Because again, maybe it's not a full break. Maybe it's just tough times. Maybe you and your roommate haven't spoken to each other for 2 weeks and it's killing you. And you have to do all this inner work so that Rebecca is, stops passive-aggressively slamming all the doors in the house. Whatever it is. It's important to you to see that relationship flourish. Having a good future. Having a great future. You're prepared to put in the work, even though it's hard, even though sometimes you doubt it, even though it's going to make all the blood rush to your head because you're changing your perspective on it. You're committed. You're attempting, right? So this is your inspiration. This is like the dream board, Put this card smack dab in the middle of your dream board, because that's essentially where it is, whether you have a real dream board or not. And this is just work in progress, April, for you. It may dribble over into May. It may begin at the end of March. Who knows? But this is just step by step by step by step by step by step. Which can be annoying to you as an Aquarius, because you're an air sign, so you're not usually as fired up as a fire sign might be. But when you are decided on something, you want to see the changes happening. And when you can't see the changes, here she comes. Oh, I don't see the progress. Even though you know there's some. You noted it the other day when you were talking with your friend over the Pinkberry that cost you 50% off, and you shared it with them because you were feeling quite generous. You were talking with someone, or you were talking with yourself, or you the other day, 2 days ago, last week, you were like, oh yeah, normally in the past I would have reacted this way, or I would have said this, or I would have felt this. And then you flash forward to now, and you're in this mode. That's because Aquarius likes to get her done, if people still say that. Get her done. You know, you can be very... You can be very goal-oriented that way. And I think the issue that is probably being talked about is that you're dealing with the human condition. You're dealing with emotions. You're dealing with circumstances that don't always involve you. If the hangman is someone else, or there's an X in here somewhere, or the... Okay, I thought... Oh, this freaking camera, I swear. Alright, let's wrap this up. You know, when you're dealing with other people, when you're dealing with circumstances that don't necessarily belong solely to you, in the situation of a roommate or a partnership, a marriage, whatever it is, you have to recognize it's not always the way you want it to be. Or it can't come... It doesn't function on the schedule that suits you all the time. And you're learning that. You're learning that. You're probably learning to appreciate that. Because I think Aquarius, sometimes you can get wrapped up in your own head, and you can confuse the hell out of yourself, and then you don't know which way is up sometimes, with the amount of time that you spend inside of yourself working over the problem, or trying to work towards a solution. You kind of lose the plot sometimes. And then you become grateful for these other people outside of you. The union outside of you. That gives you that balance. That gives you that different perspective. That gives you that different take on it. So you can go, oh, okay. And you reset. And then you're ready to go again, or you're ready to move on to the next issue, okay? So, Aquarius, that is going to be your reading for April 2018. I thank you so much for sticking with me this entire video. If you've liked what you've seen here, it resonated with you, feel free to leave a comment below. Also, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I hope that I see you again in May, when I come back with your next general reading. Thanks for watching. Bye.